Coming up to campsite 22 on the south shore of Joe Indian Island and Cranberry Lake in the Adirondacks. Even with the sand here, you want to watch out for boulders under the surface, like right here. I'm just going over one. Welcome to campsite 22 on Cranberry Lake. It's heavily used, I think because of that nice sandy beach there, but you do have rocks to watch out for. You can see the Camp Here disc on that tree. Your tent pad here is fairly heavily used and bare, so it's a relatively well drained site, so you won't have puddles, but it will get a little bit muddy and there'll be mud splashed up on things if it rains hard. I know a lot of people like to go barefoot when they're camping. You really can't, because you're always going to find pieces of broken glass and fish hooks and stuff like this laying around the campsites. Right, look at the size of this tree. It's huge. My arm span's about 6 feet. Tree hugger. The fire pit at this site has moved around a few times over the years. This looks like what happens when a fire gets out of control and burns down into the ground. It makes a hole, and then that's been filled with stone. You can see the depression. Actually, you can see it really well. Right here, you can even see the charred soil. All right, so you see how that's all, if you see how that's all blackened, and that's not dirt down there, I keep just uncovering more and more stone. Your view from the campsites to the south, over to the southeast. Your prevailing winds come from the southwest, right up into the campsite. There isn't any undergrowth to screen you from those winds. Even though you do have a southern exposure, you have trees right in front of the campsite that will give you shade all day long. There is an opening in the canopy through which you could see the night sky if you were sitting behind the fire ring with a fire at night. And most of the camping season, your sunrise will be from the northeast. Similarly, your sunset will be from that direction most of the summer. Of course, this time of year, it's actually going to come from that way, being up here at our latitude. There's my tarp set up over my hammock. That's a Warbonnet Superfly. So I'm having the Hawk Vittles Moroccan stew. It's a little spicy. It smells almost like Thanksgiving stuffing. It doesn't have a really thick broth. It's more of a soup than a stew, but it's still really good. It's a nice view of the campsite. It's a wide, flat area. There are a few roots, but it's fairly nice. So when I was looking to set up my hammock, one of the spots I thought about was between the tree on the left here and the one out on the right. When I was a kid, my dad always said, look up when you're in the woods. So if you look up, there's a branch that came down out of that tree or another tree, and it's hung up, hanging there, waiting to come down in the wind. So you don't want to set up anywhere near that. There has been a lot of beaver activity. This is pretty amazing. They took that tree down. They stripped the bark off the whole tree. There are trees with horizontal branches that you can use for bear hangs. That's how you like to store your food. Channel markers. Those buoys will blink at night. There are lights on top of them, signifying the entrance to the channel between the mainland to the south and Joe Indian Island. There's a box privy. I have a board and a boulder on which to rest your feet. And a seat. Hey, my streak continues. Tent stake. I don't know how long it's been since I've gone out and about without finding a tent stake.